in our respects. Everybody should, in whatever way you can.
This morning's service will be followed by a public procession through the streets of South L.A. Hustle shot and killed outside his L.A. clothing store March 31st at the age of 33. Prosecutors seeking the death penalty against Joseph D'Angelo, suspected of being the so-called Golden State Killer.
On behalf of at least some of the victims of the Golden State Killer, we are thrilled with the decision.
Ron Harrington's brother was one of D'Angelo's alleged victims. Prosecutors announcing their intentions at a hearing for the 73-year-old in Sacramento Superior Court. The risk of being kidnapped or taken hostage now among the travel advisories issued by the State Department. That coming days after the release of an Orange County woman who'd been held for a week after being kidnapped by gunmen in Uganda. Jeff Scott, California News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter.com/search.
Hey guys, this is Andrew Caravella. Just wanted to let you know that KCAA has a new listener line for all of you that have a phone. Now you can listen to KCAA in the grocery store, in the doctor's office, or when you want to pretend you're on the phone with someone just so that creeper will leave you alone. Call 720-835-3099 today and listen to your favorite KCAA radio shows. That number again, 720-835-3099. KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no caller or listener behind.
Ontario Host Lions Club is hoping you'll come out to their 10th annual We Serve golf tournament. Check-in is 11 a.m. on Thursday, June 20th at Sierra Laverne Country Club. Ontario Lions supports 7 local charities and 8 area projects. Dean Munoz is the golf tournament chair. Give him a call at 909-481-1180. That's 909-481-1180. Come on out and golf at Sierra Laverne Country Club on June 20th to support the Ontario Host Lions. 909-481-1180.
Thank you, Inland Empire, for listening to KCAA Radio.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest real estate investment show ever. Here's the flip-flop investor himself, Todd Bayer.
Well, hey everyone, how we doing out there today? This is the Flip Flop Investor Show, and I am your host, Todd Bayer, the Flip Flop Investor himself. Every week we like to get together here and talk about real estate investing in the Inland Empire, and I like to bring on a local expert in the industry to talk about what they do in real estate. And today we have a real expert on. Not like every other week we have just like these phonies, but this week we got a real expert on. We got DeMarco Fletcher from RE/MAX Kings. How you doing today, DeMarco?
I'm doing well, Todd. Thanks for the intro, bro.
Absolutely.
You're too kind.
Usually we got these guys that they've been investing for a few years, which is good. That's good. But
Sure.
You've been in the business for what?
Total of 21 years now.
21 years.
21 years, yeah.
That's why I say we got a real expert on the show this time, So what do you do? Like, what's your basic, day-to-day look like as a real estate agent, broker too, right?
Well, broker, owner. So my wife and I are the co-owners of RE/MAX Kings Realty in Riverside. We're located in the Orange Crest part of Riverside. And so we have it's myself and her, and we have a team of 3. And we have, 7 or 8 additional agents that's working with us right now.
Okay. So you guys are primarily focusing on like sales, listings, buying?
Both of that, residential sales, listings, buyers. We're getting into commercial now as well, and investing as well, both personally. And we've always kind of had a network of working with investors as well.
Yeah.
A big part of our clientele is investors. Both large and small, And we kind of pride ourselves in kind of meeting with investors when we come across them, which is frequent, and helping them to devise a strategy based on their investment platform in order to ensure their success, whether locally or out of the area. So
I'm always curious because I've met a ton of realtors
Sure.
along over the years, and it seems that very few realtors understand why you should work with investors. Like why is it that realtors just don't seem to get it that this is a repeat client?
It's first of all, it's a great question. And to answer the question, I don't know why most realtors don't want to do it, but I found it as something that we wanted to target from the very beginning.
Yeah.
One of the things that kind of catapulted us from just being kind of agents trying to find our way to getting to the next level was, getting in touch or linking up with an investor early on in our career. We met him at an open house. We used to do open houses every day.
Really?
When we first started, we didn't have any money.
Yeah.
We didn't have money for leads, and so we just wanted to get in front of people. So my wife, Marisa, was actually the agent first. She started first before me. I was actually doing lending at the time, and when we linked up together in 2009 after the crash, we were just kind of finding our way in real estate, and so we felt like, hey, we could probably utilize our time a lot better just out in an open house, even though they even weren't our listings at the time,
right?
Just to try to get in front of people,
and
try to talk to people.
It's such a good strategy,
yeah.
to do open houses.
We weren't meeting anybody in the office. We didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? We didn't have any money. We didn't have any leads. So we used to create our own leads, and we created our own leads by doing open houses pretty much every day, or as often as we could.
Yeah.
And during an open house, we met our first investor, and he was a guy that kind of. We met through him through a little network deal, and he was our first guy and kind of really got us catapulted away. He was a first-time investor. He started off with enough money to purchase a home, and we helped him not only purchase that home, and then that just turned into a total of 14 homes.
Wow.
Over like a year and a half period.
So as a realtor, 14 homes means at least 14 commissions,
and then probably another 12 listings.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what got us going, and we took our bumps and bruises to kind of find our way, but we were able to kind of devise a strategy based on a couple of different things, but mostly based on a program or a process that RE/MAX teaches. It's called momentum, and so it just basically helps us to diagnose what a buyer is looking to do. Their needs versus their wants, right? And then cater a strategy and a plan based around that to ensure their success. And that's kind of how we've always done it.
What a concept!
Yeah,
it's
not rocket science. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't get why so many people and RE/MAX. This is why I think it's good for an agent to work for a larger, national brand like a RE/MAX or a Coldwell or Century 20. I'm sure you don't want me to mention these other brands, but
it's okay.
But it's the training that you get from these places, because if you go work for mom and pop, some real estate broker that's been in the business for years, it's probably great, but they may not have all the training tools that are out there. And I'm not speaking for everybody, so I don't want people writing me a letter saying, "Hey, I give plenty of great training. I've trained the top agent, whatever." I'm sure you did, but on the whole, RE/MAX, people like that, they have these training tools.
Sure.
And that open house strategy you mentioned before, that's such a common thing that people should be doing that they just don't. And I see all these agents, and they'll go to the office and they sort of commiserate with each other and say, "There's no listings out there. Nobody wants to sell their home right now."
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
You can go do an open house in somebody else's listing.
Absolutely. And the good thing that we, that gave us a kind of the root of our foundation was our broker at the time, and he really took an interest first in my wife, and he saw and recognized her work ethic, and he gave her some really good ideas with which to utilize. And so, we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. He was a very successful guy. We were trying to get to anywhere near that level of success, and so we simply emulated what he said to do. Real simple, you know what I mean? But I think to kind of answer and kind of kind of dive into what you just said about why more agents don't do it. I think it's a variety of things. I think it's fear. I think it's apprehension. I think it's lack of training. And even though you mentioned the larger agencies do offer training, we've been with other companies, and I won't mention them right now, but we were with other agencies, larger agencies, before selling on RE/MAX. But one of the reasons why we did sell on RE/MAX is because of the training that they offer. And then with this new agent development program, which we call Momentum, for someone who's been in sales my whole entire life, I had never seen anything like it. It was just phenomenal. And if you apply it and you utilize it and just simply, here's a concept, do it, right? It works every single time. And so that's how we started. And like I said, we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just simply did what was already working. Yeah, and working with, do you work with many like traditional home buyers too? I mean, is that? Oh, big time. Yeah. I mean, actually, and I'll be honest with you, Todd, I like, I came from lending, okay? I've been in this game 21 years. The first 11 of it, or 12 of it, was as a mortgage banker. Okay. I really thought that that's what I would do my entire career. But through circumstances, which I now know is probably kind of God-driven, we moved into real estate. My wife started doing it first before the crash, and then when the market crashed in 2008, I and my partner, or my previous business partner at the time, we owned a couple mortgage companies. We were unable to stay in the game then. We were able to barely hang out until 2009. So at that time, though, my wife developed a presence in real estate, from her hard work, and she was just kind of, and she's the type of person, unlike probably yourself and myself, she wanted to learn the business first. Right. So she took the first year or two, she was doing some transactions, but she was really learning it. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys that, you show me, okay, I'll go do it. You know what I mean? I didn't really, and learn as I go. She was more of an expert and a professional of it. So with those two things and my sales ability and her knowledge, we're able to kind of put that together and make it work. You know what I mean? It's working out really good. So so here we are now, where we own a RE/MAX, and we feel like we want to give that same kind of knowledge to the right people that want to partner up with us. I just heard my phone make a noise, so I got to shut this thing off before we have any further interruptions. I know I'm supposed to do that at the beginning. All these years doing the show, you think I know this by now, but I'm going to figure it out one day. One day I'm going to be a real radio broadcaster. It'll come to you one day, bro. It's all good. One day it's going to happen. No, but I didn't set out to be a radio broadcaster. I don't think you know that. Sure. Hey, we all kind of find our path, as God leads us. Exactly. They came to me. So if you could give some little piece of advice, because there's some agents that listen to the show. I've had several agents actually. Some totally have heard the show before. For some people that are just getting started out, what would you say would be some of the number 3 things or so that they should do just to sort of get better at being an agent, to find those listings, to find buyers? Right. Okay. Well, the first thing, and I'm sure they're not any, super authority, but, the thing I've seen with both new agents and even experienced ones, and we talk about it all the time in our office, are you really committed to this? Are you committed, or are you just interested? Which one are you? Are you interested, or are you committed? I'm committed. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so personally. I think that, me too. So I think that's the number one difference. You have to be first committed. This is not, HGTV. It's not, you just kind of, be a real estate agent on Facebook. And, you know what I mean? You actually have to kind of work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so what we do that's really kind of unique, I believe, is that with each one of our agents, we devise a plan for that agent. Based on what that agent is looking to accomplish. Right. There is no universal way to really do it. So we kind of say, okay, what is it that you're looking to accomplish through real estate? Okay, what is it that you want? What is it that your real need is? Okay, let's devise a plan to make that happen. And that could be, for some people, just supplementing their income due to their spouse. Sure. For some people, it could be just, hey, having a little freedom to be able to do stuff with their kids and make, $75,000. Some people might be $200,000. So whatever it is, because real estate offers that or affords that, opportunity, whatever it is, we devise a strategy to make that happen. And then we lay out what you exactly have to do day to day to do it, which would be, number one, if you're really trying to make a real income in this, is to be committed, okay, and really prospect. Yeah. And we show you a variety of different ways on how to prospect that doesn't even really cost you any money. Sure, which is crucial for most people coming into the business, because
I think most people coming in have no money,
myself included.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, I don't think I had any.
Yeah,
I think I was negative quite a bit actually at that time.
I'm right there with you, bro.
But
absolutely.
If an agent were to come in and you had to put a dollar sign on it, how much money do you think it would be to come into an agent and be a success like right out of the gate?
Okay, so that's a good question, and it kind of really depends on the situation. But what we always try to say, you want to have at least enough to be able to carry or cover your bills for 60 days.
Okay, that's a good.
And cover
that's a good
your
piece of
own
advice.
personal bills for 60 days.
Right.
Because if you do our plan, you will have a escrow. You will have a transaction in escrow within 60 days.
That's solid.
Guaranteed.
That's amazing.
Guaranteed. Okay, at least a buyer. I'm not saying you're necessarily going to have a listing, but you might if you have a friend or family, or we show you how to do that circle of influence originally too. But if you follow our buyer plan, you'll have a buyer transaction within escrow within 60 days.
So come in with 60 days worth of
60
all your
days
expenses
of backup.
covered.
You know what I'm saying? So for some people that might be $500, some people that might be $2,500. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So
For some people
whatever
that might be a lot
is,
more than
you know
that.
what I mean? Or so whatever
I've seen some
it
agents;
is.
they're driving Mercedes Benz. I mean, they're
Right. But a lot of them are living in them too. So we know
That's true.
that too. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I knew an agent that bought a limo.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
He was
Let's be honest here. So we know the deal.
Yeah. So okay, that's actually pretty good. That's less than I would have thought.
So
actually.
as a first-time agent, when you're relatively new, and truthfully, we like to target newer agents because we find that they're not as entrenched in their own ways,
Right.
and they're open to new ideas, and they're a little bit more teachable in most cases.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But what we really look for is that hustle. We really look for that fire. That you have that grind in you. You know what I mean?
Okay, so how do you identify that? Because that's something that we look for too, and it's not an easy thing to identify.
It's not. I mean, because people can say it, but then do they demonstrate it?
That's what's tough.
You know what I'm saying? So it's about saying the right things first. To just give yourself the opportunity, because we're not the type of the real estate office that's interested in just recruiting just to recruit. We're interested in partnering with agents. Okay, partnering with them to make sure that this business affords them the lifestyle that they want.
Right.
So it's a partnership. It's not just a bunch of agent counts.
Sure, and you're
more
you're
quality.
investing.
Yeah,
you're investing in their success.
Investing in them, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's more of a absolute partnership. We don't want a huge number count. We don't want that. That's not our motto. Because we want all of our agents to be six-figure producing agents. Every single one of them, not just as in most real estate offices, you'll have 10% make 90% of the money.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure if there's any other brokers listening to the show right now, like, yeah, I'd love for all my agents to be six-figure agents too.
Exactly.
But so how do you actually what are some characteristics you found of the people that are these hustlers, these people that that are just going to do it no matter what,
Absolutely.
and nothing's going to get in their way?
Number one, confidence.
Okay.
We have to have confidence in yourself. So I really like to try to talk to, or maybe even if you use the word recruit, which we really don't use, we use the word partner with people that come from some form of like what we found really good is like people who come from like Verizon, wireless sales, those type of things. People that are not afraid to talk to people.
Sure. Okay.
Even when they don't know what to necessarily say, because we're going to give you or provide you with what to say, and more importantly, what not to say, to someone through this training or agent development program that we provide. But confidence is the key.
Yep.
Some goals that they already have in their mind, not goals that I've told them. What are your goals? Well, I want to make money. That's not a goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How
We
much
all
money?
want, what does that really mean to you? So
Yeah.
someone that has kind of defined goals, someone that has confidence, and then someone that is looking to really get an opportunity. This real estate to us, we saw it as an opportunity. I came into real estate in 2009 when everyone was running out of it. I saw that as an opportunity. I say, if everyone's running out, this is the time to run in.
Yep.
Because if I can survive this wave, I can position ourselves in a position to where it'll be real great for us once we survive that wave.
Smart.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I've always been the type of person, you might not be able to tell this, Todd, but I've always been pretty confident in myself.
Oh yeah,
And
I can
if I
tell
could
that.
bet on myself a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like my odds a little bit.
You
know
wear
what I mean?
you wear your confidence on your sleeve. Yeah, no,
just a tad.
I knew that about you the first time I met you. I don't. I'm shy. No.
Yeah, exactly. I could
people-
tell.
I'm not confident one
At
bit.
all.
Not at all. Yeah,
exactly.
Not arrogant. No, nothing. I was just. No, I mean, okay, so I agree with those. Yeah, those are great. Previous sales experience.
Previous sales is always helpful. It's not a key. It's not a must.
Right.
But definitely helpful. You know what I mean? So, but we've had guys that had no sales experience, but still had confidence, still had goals. Still had some fire, you know what I mean, had a vision of what they really wanted to try to accomplish, and just needed an opportunity and some direction with which to accomplish that.
So it's funny, I had an old boss, because I had previous sales prior to getting into real estate, and I had an old boss, and he said he wanted a ladies' man. When he hired guys, he wanted them to be like, a ladies' man. He wanted them to have multiple girlfriends and all this stuff. That was like his criteria. And I'm like, why'd you hire me? I'm not a ladies' man at all,
Well, I'm not going to make a comment on that one. My wife might be listening.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about hiring guys here. But yeah. So okay, those are great. I like all those actually. It's funny that you say that, like the cell phone sales, because we've all dealt with them. You go to Costco, they got cell phone salespeople there. You know,
there, and they'll talk to anybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Even if you're not looking at them.
Yeah, they'll just and they'll just walk up to you and kind of talk to you because it's part of their their job description and what it is they do. And to me, that's a rare thing for most people. Most people just inherently are not willing to just walk up to total strangers on a very regular basis and initiate a conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a good quality to have. Now, if you can refine that and then, and kind of teach them what to say and how to initiate a conversation and then continue that conversation based on providing value in that conversation.
Yeah.
Then, you have the foundation of a very successful real estate individual.
Like I could say in the very beginning, I would have been extremely nervous talking to somebody, right out of the gate about something that's very, very personal to them, like a home. Like this is a major financial purchase for it's probably the most expensive thing anybody's ever going to buy in their lifetime. And I would have had a hard time in my early 20s talking to somebody right out and saying like, hey, what kind of home you looking for? How much you going to spend? You pre-qualified? Like that to me is nerve-wracking. Thinking back to how it would have been when I first got into the business, but somebody that has the confidence to just ask these things. The other side of it being, they have to sort of have some level of knowledge too, because you don't want to sound like a moron when you're talking to these folks either.
Absolutely, which is why we spend so much time on the training, the agent development program. So we're not sounding like, hey, it is a little difficult to ask very personal questions like, hey, are you looking to buy a house? How much are you looking to spend? Where are you looking to buy? Are you pre-qualified? So, but instead we'll train you to ask questions like, okay, so, are you currently in the market for a new home? How have you been going about finding your new home to this point?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're asking very specific questions to get an exact response, all of which we already know is going to be, and then we have the ways to overcome it.
And the way you say those questions, it sounds like you're coming from a place of authority rather than
value. Yeah. And value. So when it says, well, how are you going about finding your new? Well, let me share with you this. Would you be interested in an intentional and proactive process that assures, Todd, that you get the home you want, and more importantly, want the home you get? Does that sound like a process that might? Does that sound like a process that can benefit you?
Marco's about to get me to buy a house right now.
So we kind of come from a different perspective, and we have a whole breakdown. Even if you've never sold anything in your life, if you have the confidence to say, you know what, I'm not selling you anything. All I'm simply doing is trying to provide you with a high level of value, so that this process that you were already considering doing is going to be easy for you.
Yep, and that's you figure agents are getting they get a decent commission. I mean and I've certainly dealt with it many times where I'm like, that guy didn't deserve what he got paid. Come on, this guy did nothing.
Right.
He put the property in the MLS and fielded a phone call. That to me is not providing any value to me as an investor.
Absolutely.
And same thing for on the buyer side. Because I've never bought a deal from these people, they're out there, they're looking for deals on the MLS, and they're making calls, and that's that's not it. That's not how you're doing it.
It's not, and quite frankly, we in our office and I'll share a little something we probably shouldn't, but in our office we make that differentiation between real estate agents and realtors, and then what we like to call ourselves professional real estate consultants. Okay, because we're going to consult with each client that we have, whether you're an investor, whether you're buying a house, selling a house, whatever it is. We're going to have a consultation first and foremost before we work with any client. We always have that free, no obligation, no cost consultation, so I can find out what you're looking to do, devise a plan to do just that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I like it. I think this is great.
And that's how we operate. And then not only do we operate with that format and that mindset, then we also prepare you and equip you with the right things with which to say.
So I think any agent that's listening right now, I mean, they just got a ton of great advice from DeMarco on this one. And if you're the right kind of person, I'm sure you'd love to take on some new folks, right?
Yeah, some
partner up with some new people.
We like to say we like to partner with like-minded people, okay, who are look to provide value for clients as opposed to just simply out trying to make a quick commission. Our goal in our office, we say it all the time, was we're not looking to do a real estate transaction. Yeah. We're looking for long-time business partnerships, long-term business partnerships. And so in order to do that, you do have to provide a high level of value at the beginning, do a good job, and then that person is going to inherently want to work with us again. And our bottom line in terms of our return clients, you know what I mean, our referrals, that number is growing rapidly. We're up around 50% right now. Yeah. And our closed transactions are either some referral or return client.
That's great. That's definitely high for the industry. Yeah. So okay, so that's what you do, in real estate. But you mentioned you got in 21 years ago. You were originally working as a lender. So I'm assuming you came in. Did you work for like a bank?
Started off wholesale. Worked for Colonial National Bank Corp. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Back in the day, so that's where I started off as a junior processor. Yeah, they're not around anymore. I was a junior processor, and then a processor because at that time you had to process before you can be a loan officer. Right? Okay. So you had to learn how to structure a deal.
It's funny how companies had these structures, and there's still no license for lending as far as if you want to be like a loan officer. Right. They have the NMLS now, but prior to that, I mean, companies had their own sort of
they had their own
path.
Kind of, because they wanted to make sure that by the time you're actually talking to someone about a loan, you actually knew how a loan worked. You knew how your loan file went. You know what I'm saying? So you had to start off as a junior processor, and then a processor, and then you got a chance to become, a loan officer. And so that's the kind of work my way up. Did that. Worked in the wholesale, and then I decided I wanted to go to retail, and I got a job at originally working, which was Washington Mutual at the time, for Attorney Chase, and Wells Fargo, and did that for a few years and made some really good relationships. And then my previous business partner and I used to work at Wells Fargo together. Okay, and then we were saying, hey, we can do this ourselves. Sure, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's what kind of led into the opportunity to open up a couple mortgage companies. We had one at the time in Upland and another one in Rancho. Okay, 2 offices there. Yeah.
So doing all the this was big prior to the crash,
prior to the crash.
You said what it was. Up till 2009.
Right.
Essentially, yeah.
We opened in 2005.
Okay,
and so and then the crash was in 2008, and we were able to hang on by the skin of our teeth till the end of 2009. September of 2009 is when we ended up having to say farewell.
That was pretty much it. Just like 4 months.
Blessing in disguise. Yeah, exactly. But
after the
blessing
crash,
in disguise was that. My wife now, who was my girlfriend at the time, she used to work with us too, and she's the one that kind of opened up our real estate division. That's what got her into real estate and got her to grow her passion, because her passion in real estate is what got me into it. When we had to let go of the office, I didn't know what I was going to do, and she was like, "Why don't we just do real estate together?" I didn't want to do it at first, but now I know that was what I should have done. You know what I mean? And so we linked up, and the rest is kind of history.
It's kind of funny how things happen like that, because I've been through multiple business iterations, and it's funny how one business kind of leads the way to the next one.
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
You're sort of just jumping around to the next thing, but then you find the thing you really like doing. And
right.
I love lending. I think that's one of my favorite things to do.
And it's so funny. I tell clients I still kind of feel like I hang my hat on the lending side. You know what I mean? But I think it's also made me a much more complete real estate professional, because I understand both sides of it very well. You know what I mean? Not just I know loan. I know a loan officer. Here you go get pre-qualified. That's kind of, we don't do it really that way. So I can kind of look at a file, can tell what we got before I send it to one of my preferred lenders that I work with, that I partner with, and that whole relationship is a whole other different level of things. I won't get into that right now. But So as a result, we get more complete files, and I think that leads to our high closing ratio.
Yeah, that's I think that's the key right there. I mean, having a background that's multifaceted in real estate is just it's another way of providing even more value. Some of the better people I've known in the industry have worked in escrow, they've worked in title, right? They've worked in these different elements, and then
Absolutely.
They understand the whole process from start to finish.
Absolutely. The more you understand, and just like anything else, the more you understand, the more knowledge we have, the more efficient and effective we are.
And I wish there were more guys out there like you, because I think the reason why some of these iBuyer companies are now coming into the picture is because there are so many terrible real estate agents out there, and the iBuyer programs make it easy.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
That's it's ease in exchange for a lower commission cost,
a lower commission cost, and a much lower sales price. You want to give up. The seller wants to give up $50,000 more. You know what I mean? But we won't get into that either. But everything is a kind of a fad, and we'll see what happens with it and whether they have any long term. Effect in the market. Yeah.
And it's weird because it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid between real estate investing, which is my side of the coin, and then traditional real estate, which is not really my expertise. I've never worked as a real estate agent, so this is not my area. I've never worked with a buyer, or I've worked with very few sellers directly too. Most of my transactions have been done through agents. Okay. Or somebody like a wholesaler, somebody who's direct to the seller. Right. And it's for me, it's kind of the side that's a little bit of a mystery. I understand quite a bit of it, but I've never worked in that industry. So, I know all the documentation. I just, I could probably be an agent if I really wanted to be.
You absolutely could, because you've seen it enough times. And it's just like anything else, though. It's when you're doing any one thing, you try to perfect that one thing. So I think having a knowledge of certain things and a variety of things helps us, but you still have to perfect that one. You're one part of the profession. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because so people ask me, well, you used to be a lender. Do you still do it? I'm like, no, because it's gonna interrupt, or it's not gonna allow me to be as effective as a real estate professional if I'm still trying to do lending. Let me do this. This is what I do all full time now, and that's all I'm.
We talked about
committed
before.
to doing.
Commitment. Yeah, that's exactly
committed.
it.
Yeah. Like, am I interested or am I committed? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to do one or the other. If you're going to be committed to something, it's like you got.
Otherwise, you're not going to excel.
Nope.
And I'm not interested in being a real estate agent to just be a real estate agent.
Right.
I'm interested in excelling.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the confident side. That's the the hustler side. The whatever side you want to call it.
Sure.
But, okay, so you got in, but prior to becoming a lender, I mean, you went to go work for this company. Like, what was it that caused you to go work for this company to begin with? I mean,
well,
I'm always curious to know how people get in.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, I could talk kind of a little bit on the way here, but I finished college like in '92 ish.
Okay.
And I went to school kind of like most people do, because I felt obligated, and I just kind of went because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Really wasn't my thing. I just kind of drudged my way through it. And when I got out, I got a job. My one real technical job, I got a job at as a manager at Big Five Corporate in El Segundo.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And I was terrible at it, and I didn't like working for a corporation at all. Didn't like the fact that they determined what my pay was. Didn't like the fact that. Just didn't like pretty much any of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other than it was sports, and it was sports related, which is the reason I thought I would like it. Got fired, within like 10 months, and then found myself needing a job. A friend of mine was working at a car dealership.
Okay.
And I just needed a job, so I went over there to sell cars, and really found my niche to sell.
Okay.
I figured it was real easy for me. Because I never tried to sell. I used to develop relationships, you know what I'm saying, and try to provide value. I never looked at it as trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you a car.
Yeah.
Allow me to provide you value in your desire to get a car, because that's why you're here anyway. So let me show you value in helping you to do that.
Okay.
So saying that. So I started as a car salesman, and then that transferred. One of the guys that was my sales manager in the car dealership is the one who was one of the owners of what was the name of the forgot the name of the company.
Colonial
Bancorp. Yeah, he was an investor and an owner into that company.
Okay.
So he went from car sales into mortgages. I followed him into that. That's how I got into mortgages.
Nice.
Right, and which led to real estate. So I've only done really sales my whole adult life, other than the 10-month real job.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat.
Yeah.
And if you're an entrepreneur, that's what you're doing. You're selling yourself every single day.
Every day. You know what I mean? And that's simply what it was. And so that's kind of how I kind of got into it. I kind of fell into it first because I was raised. My father told me, "Hey, go to school, get a job. That's what real men do.
That's what
you're supposed to do." So I tried that, didn't work well, crashed and burned.
Right.
And kind of fell into sales and found that was really my niche.
Yeah, so you didn't do any like the menial like part time.
Oh heck no!
You didn't do that stuff before.
Hey, bro, I'm going to go for it or not. You know what I'm saying? So I had a kid at the time, or you know what I'm saying. I had I had to make it work. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
nothing like a kid that really motivates you to keep things moving.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean that's a good story. That's a good background. Like you got to sort of struggle at some point, right?
Sure.
Like if you don't struggle, you're not gonna, you're not gonna appreciate it. And that struggle, produces that creativity. It produces that drive,
right.
And without it, like that's the one thing that I might like add to what you were talking about before with when you're looking at certain criteria for a person to come work with you guys,
right?
I want to see somebody who's kind of been down and fought their way out of it.
That's a very good point, bro. That's a very good point, and you're right. And in my experience, the people that I've come across that have had some form of that, myself and yourself included, those are the ones that kind of rise up.
Yeah,
almost like a phoenix. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And overcome it, and that's what you want to be able to see, where you be able to overcome some hurdles and some obstacles and get back on path.
Some of those people, some of these people, and we meet them at the club because some of them show up because they've found real estate at some point during this rise that they're on, and I just want to jump on their back and go wherever they're going because they got so much power and steam behind them. And so we've. Some of these people, they kind of work in our little ecosystem at this point,
Absolutely. But yeah, that's a great common denominator too. People that have had some struggles and had to really make it work. Those are the ones that usually have some longevity too.
And that's I think people like that. They have a more creative mind. They're able to, because with real estate, there's a creative solution for just about every single problem that people are encountering. So. Having somebody that can really think through things creatively and come up with a creative solution and say, okay, maybe we could sell your house here. We'll buy this mobile home. We rent that out with the equity, and
it's devising strategies,
exactly,
devising plans to ensure your real estate success, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what it is. I mean, it's funny you mentioned, sell this house to buy this house and put a little overside to invest in another. I mean, those are our typical type transactions. We typically generally don't do just a buyer transaction or a seller transaction usually. I mean, we have those too, but the ones I really enjoy, and we're probably doing 5 or 6 right now, is ones just like you said. We're gonna sell this house. We're gonna keep this rental property that we already have. We're gonna pull some money out of this to buy another one, and we're gonna buy a house at the one where you know what I'm saying. So multi transactions all within, and then making them work concurrently, and that's where the kind of.
And that's where the value really shows up.
Value comes in,
Any agent can put a property on the MLS and take a few phone calls.
Right.
The sign is nice if they do that too, man. I even saw one where they did it in the front yard and the backyard because it hung over a fence. That's that guy went the extra step there.
Yeah. 2-hole signs, right?
2-hole signs. I bet he paid an extra $60 for that thing. But and some of these agents, that's what they think that they're providing value for. Like I'm going to hire a professional photographer to take the pictures. It's
right.
Cool. Everybody does that now.
Sure. Everybody. You should. That's like expectation. You don't. Like my dad used to say, you don't get any credit for what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tipping somebody for making you your coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Dad, I went to school today. Well, you're supposed to. You don't get any credit for that.
Right.
So same type of thing in real estate.
It would be so different if they paid me to go to school. If every day I showed up, they gave me $100.
Hey, bro, I think attendance in university would be a lot higher if they paid us.
No kidding.
I might have paid attention too.
I'd have my pencil ready, my paper, my book, everything. I'd be there on time.
Absolutely. There's another thing. You'd be on time. I was notorious for showing up about 10 minutes before the class was over.
So, what were we talking about? I started coughing. I'm like, trying to get over this bronchitis.
Yeah, you're just saying, people overcoming stuff.
Oh, that's right. So the overcome. I've lost it again. See, that's what happens. It's old age, man. You don't have the gray showing. I got the gray.
That's all. It's just showing. It's not showing, bro. I just kind of hide it away. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So, let's see. Going down this path with real estate, what do you see yourself? Oh, we were talking about value. That's what it was.
Okay.
And really, that's that value of being able to kind of come up with a plan because. Some people, they're going to sell their home. They're going to have a pretty good chunk of equity coming their way.
Right.
And you say, with some of this money, what are you going to do with it?
Absolutely.
And that's the follow-up question that a lot of people forget to ask because there's a whole other thing here that you're not, making yourself a value.
Absolutely. Because I think, like you said, most real estate agents are just concerned with the transaction. With just that one sell your home. Okay, I can help you sell your home, but what's after that?
Right.
So a big part of the value that we try to provide, and another reason why we do these upfront consultations, is so that we can really find out what the whole picture looks like, and let's provide value throughout that picture. And as a result, we oftentimes are able to create additional transactions.
Right, because there's oftentimes there's this money, and especially if you're dealing with like a probate situation,
Sure.
Children have to sell mom and dad's house, and there's this money, but they don't really need it, and sometimes it's kind of like, well, that's where the investment side comes in. Like, have you thought maybe we look for a rental property, or we look for something that we can put that into?
Absolutely.
You mentioned commercial real estate.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
our maybe we could partner up on a small multifamily together, and let's do something in that way.
Absolutely, something that's going to again show value, and then also create that long-term business partnership. Because once people see, okay, well, this guy was just concerned with just more than just selling our house, but he really cared about us.
Right.
He tried to help us devise a strategy that's going to help us long-term too. And so we're big on that, and that's what we try to do with every single transaction.
And make them an equitable type deal where it's win-win, all that kind of stuff. Because that's what
we discuss that a lot. It's a big term. Funny as you say that, guys. That's a huge term in our office. Win-wins. Okay, we don't even work with a client unless we can create that win-win. Business partnership. The client has to win first. Then we win. But the client can only win if we're doing what's in their very best interest.
Of course. Yeah, and that's the basis for pretty much any deal. You have to have a willing buyer and a willing seller.
Absolutely.
And as long as both parties are good with the whole thing, then you're good to close.
There you go.
Move on to the next thing.
Absolutely.
So, moving into the investment side of things, you guys are talking about getting into the commercial side of the
Sure.
world, which for a lot of like residential people, that's sort of like this whole other ball game out there.
Right.
That I think a lot of people are pretty scared to get into commercial, and the only reason I could think of is because the numbers are bigger.
Yeah, and because you feel like, I think a lot of people feel like they're embarking upon something they don't really know much about, And so again, I've never been afraid to embark upon something we don't have any real experience in, but we've been interested in it for a while now, and we didn't want to jump in, haphazardly, you know what I mean? But so we wanted to do like we did the first time. Well, actually, not we. Let me give the credit where credit is due. It's really my wife. She is the researcher. She is the one that gathers the information, and then she just disseminates it to me, and then I go execute it. You know what I mean? That's kind of how we get down. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But as we're getting into it, and we've done some commercial transactions now. We maybe done about half a dozen, maybe to 10 transactions, and we just want to start doing more and more and getting bigger and bigger. I have another one coming up in LA now. That's actually where I'm going to present to the investment group. It's going to be an investment opportunity.
Oh, cool! Is this an apartment?
It's not an apartment. It is a storefront. It owns a storefront commercial center.
A little strip mall, strip center.
Strip center.
Yeah, out now it's real common. Yeah, little parking lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it L-shaped?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
I know the
it's
model.
right in LA and almost toward downtown. You know what I mean? So I'll be getting it here within the next week or two, and then I'm going to present it to the group and see. And once I get the information on it all, you know what I mean? I'm in the process of acquiring it right now. But again, just making sure that we're getting the right information, researching it right, and then being able to execute with a high level. So we like the challenge, and I'm looking forward to doing more and moving more into this side of things.
So it's funny because we talked about this last night. We do through the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We have the Let's Make a Deal group that we do on the second Wednesday of every month. So we did that last night at the Mission Inn. So for those of you that missed out, you missed out on a good one because we had 4 deals get presented, and it was kind of good because one of them was a flip, like a residential flip.
Okay.
Actually, 2 of them were residential flips. Then one of them was a 6-unit apartment.
Okay.
And then one of them was a new construction for a home out in Woodcrest in Riverside. Okay. So it's kind of a good mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the commercial one was really good because here we are for the other 3. We're looking at comparable sales, but with commercial it's a little different.
Right. So
comparable sales aren't necessarily the best methodology for analyzing a deal because it's purely a business. You have to look at commercial property as a business.
It's the property itself, and that's the deal. You know what I mean? It's not everything. So analyzing it from a little bit different perspective, learning how to do that, and making a good deal with it and presenting it right. So, but we're pretty excited about it. It just came across my desk about a week ago. From our circle, and pretty excited about it, and looking forward to getting it ready and preparing it, and hopefully I'll be the next one on Let's Make a Deal.
Hey, that's a good goal to shoot for.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? But with this one guy that seems to know about that kind of stuff. That guy named Todd. You know.
Oh yeah. I was helping him out. Basically, the good thing about it was funny because we were talking about cap rates. Capitalization rates. This is how much money you're going to make on the deal after you've paid all your expenses. How much are you making on your dollar?
Right.
So on this particular deal, it was in this 6-unit was in Lake Elsinore, and it's kind of a funky deal, a little strange. It's like 6 bungalows on this piece of property. But it's a multifamily because even though they're not attached, but they were asking. I had people in the audience asking, what are the cap rates for the area? And I'm like, that's one way you can look at it if you're looking at it like you're going to sell it.
Right.
But if I'm going to buy it as an investment, which is what these two ladies were looking to do, they were trying to buy it. It's really like, how much do you want to make?
Right.
If you want to make 8% on your money as your cap rate, we have to do the calculation based upon an 8% return.
Correct.
I don't care what the market bears in this case.
Correct.
I'm doing it based upon an investment.
Correct.
For my own portfolio, and so it was kind of hard explaining that to people, because there is a very different mentality.
And most people are thinking residential. They're trying to look at it from a residential perspective. That's why what are the cap rates in the area, almost like comps. You know what I mean?
And if we're going to go to sell, that's an important thing to know.
Absolutely.
But they're not looking to sell.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter.
There you go. Which is why we like to say our consultations are so important, because you got to learn how to take off your buyer hat or your residential hat and put on your investor hat. It's two totally different types of things, and we try to share that with them up front.
Yeah, and that's and even on the residential side with the investment side of way of looking things, we're looking to make a profit. So some agents might say, okay, it needs $30,000 worth of work. It's worth $300,000. So we could sell it for $270. Because it needs $30,000 in work. It's like, no, you can't just take the $30,000 off the top. Because what you're forgetting is I got to pay commission on the backside. I got to do another escrow.
Right.
Plus I want to make a little money for doing this.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hate me for it. Maybe a nice 10 to 15% return would be good. I'd like that.
Exactly.
And so you take all those things out and you back it down a bit, and then you get to the real investor pricing.
Right.
And that simple formula. I think so many agents would benefit from knowing why does an investor, we're not lowballing, that's taking into account the costs that are going to go into it.
Exactly.
They don't present that on HGTV either, which doesn't help us either.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have in real estate right now is HGTV and everyone's asphyxiation with it.
It's good in a way.
It's entertaining because it keeps them their eyes on real estate.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I tell them, I'll say, okay, look, it's hey, listen, you walk and invariably, pretty much any client we talk to, whether they're buying or selling, watches that watches some form of it. And
everybody's seen them.
It's entertainment. You know what I mean?
And I love houses so much too. I like to watch it just because I like to see the house.
Me too.
I'm addicted to it in a way. I mean, whatever. Forget the drama that comes along with it. That stuff's fake, but
right.
All the I like the house. The house is real. I've seen them.
Right.
Some of the ones they've done out this way. You've probably seen the ones from Tarek and Christina.
Sure.
I've been to a couple of their homes. It's I like it. It's it's my guilty pleasure, I guess you could say.
Sure. Nothing wrong with it.
But I like the fact that they actually have some real business models being presented on TV, because there's a lot of people like you and I who went to school because that's what you were supposed to do.
Right.
But we're deep down, we're entrepreneurial type people.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want to do. We always want to have our own thing. So it's cool to see these other ideas being presented on television, because I don't know how long it's going to last, the whole big business model where there's these giant corporations that, employ the majority of people. I don't know how long that model is going to really stay around.
Right.
It's possible at some point there's going to be a lot of really small businesses.
We're starting to see it already. You know what I mean? Even in real estate. I mean, think about it. How many of the real estate offices are the bigger, larger offices? Most real estate offices, most brokerages now are between 4 and 10 agents. You know what I'm saying? And so there's already some, we're seeing that already. And I think that, it's going to start being more of an expertise type of situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, but again, it all boils down to providing value.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? In that investment, in any situation, but surely in this arena as well. And, like you said, with investing and sharing with people the formula and value of that and how to really do that in the right way, you're gonna create long-term partnerships because people are going to appreciate what it is you're doing for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've also like you've immersed yourself sort of in the investment world too, because
Sure.
you came to the to Thomas's the Black Owned and Proud Real Estate Investment Club. That was the first time I met you,
right?
And that was maybe 3 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, about 2-3 months ago now. Yeah. And I was not amused. I mean, I was he teases me about it all the time. But my wife told me to come, and I was there kind of out of obligation, like I was at school. You know
right.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Until I saw some nuggets of value,
mm-hmm.
and there you guys were doing things differently, and that's what kind of piqued it. And it was like almost toward the end of that first day.
Yeah.
But since then, you guys, the way you do it, and the fact that you provide value in a certain and very distinct way, I was able to kind of hitch my wagon to. I like that.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me of kind of what we were doing. I saw that same type of mindset.
That's the goal,
like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I got a chance to actually get to know you guys, and then that kind of further the whole thing situation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I like the fact that you came, because we get a lot of people that are new that have never done anything in real estate, and
mm-hmm.
I like it when people that have been in the industry for a while show up, which is pretty rare, actually.
Sure.
The people that are there that come on a regular basis that are in the industry, they've already been coming for a long time.
Right.
And it's rare that we get somebody that's been in the industry that shows up, because so many people get kind of complacent in their position in this industry, and they're not doing anything to further themselves, get better at this,
right?
Find additional ways to provide more value,
right?
And you guys show up, and I'm like, this is great. I love these people just for the fact that they're showing up,
right?
To improve and have more things to offer a client.
Absolutely, absolutely,
and even for yourselves, because obviously
we're in it too.
You're in it too, you guys are investing as well.
Absolutely, and we're picking up investment properties too. So yeah, I mean, it just created an overall win-win. But one of the things, my wife's real big. I was telling you on the whole education of this industry and,
mm-hmm.
and learning every avenue of it, and learning new avenues, new ways to do things. So we try to really make sure that we never become complacent.
That's
and always
good.
Look at open other avenues with which to be able to provide assistance and value, and then also help our business as well potentially.
Yeah. So what's the future look like? We've talked about the past, the present.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the future a little bit of DeMarco Fletcher and
Remax
Kings. Do you guys do property management?
We used to. We had kind of like a property management, but we don't do it anymore.
Okay.
It just became too time consuming, and and we have a partner now. We've partnered with a property management company now. We kind of hand it off to that.
Okay.
They're the experts in it.
Yeah.
That's what all they do. You know what I mean? They're committed to property management. They're not simply interested in it. And so we realized that we wouldn't be doing clients a service, really, if we still try to maintain that, that avenue of our business when we weren't really committed to it. So we partnered with someone that is, and it's been going much better.
It's actually refreshing to hear you say that, because I've worked with a property manager before. I'm not going to say their name because
mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of this person individually, but they're like great broker. Great agency. However, their property management side had a lot of issues,
mm-hmm.
and I couldn't stick with it for too long because the issues just I wasn't being served very well as a client.
Right. And we never wanted that to be a part of what we're about, and we wanted we really are cognizant of making sure that we try to keep our name in a positive light in every aspect that we do.
What
and
a concept.
You know what I'm saying? And so that that our clientele, when they hear us, they hopefully are going to know that they're going to get a high level of service in anything that we help them with. And simply because we weren't able to commit to property management, we made a decision early on in our business.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the second year, that we weren't going to do this anymore,
mm-hmm.
and just let it go and do it, and hand it off to somebody who's a little bit more committed.
Yeah, somebody that's like a full-time
They don't do anything else. They don't do real estate. They don't do lending. They don't do all they do is property management.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I always loved like the big shops, like they got the in-house escrow, they got property management, they got sales, buying and listing.
Right.
It's oh wow, we only got 5 minutes left. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah, I was telling you before, like time flies by.
Bro.
But okay, so you're not doing property management. Let's get into the future real quick. Are you guys thinking like you're gonna expand like multiple offices? You're gonna do anything?
We do
like
want
that?
to open other offices. We want to keep our office is, about 15 to 20 agents. Okay, but we do want to have more than so. We're from the LA area, LA County, which is where our families are from. My wife and I, and so we eventually want to expand there. But our home is here, and this is what our network is right now, and this is what our expertise is right now. So even when we go there, it won't be us. Right. Because we don't have the expertise in the LA County area that we do here. So, but eventually that is the goal. We definitely want to get more into commercial transactions. I'm really, really trying to develop some relationships in that area right now. And, just continue to, try to really provide high level of value and service for our clients. But in the long term, that's what we're kind of looking to. And of course, investing personally. Definitely personally, and helping out investors as well. That's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, getting
that's our future, bro.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you had that. I'm gonna just real quickly tell the folks out here about the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club.
Absolutely.
Tell them that if they were looking to become a real estate agent, or I'm not an agent. If you want to be an agent, you can come. I mean, there's no harm in that. But no, if you're looking to become a real estate investor, or if you are a real estate investor and you haven't already heard of the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club, come check us out. We've got the main monthly meeting we do once every month at the Mission Inn. That's on the fourth Wednesday of every single month. So this month in April, we'll be doing that. Oops, clicked on the wrong button. We'll be doing that on April 24th at the Mission Inn. That starts at 6 o'clock. Open networking till 7. Then we kick it off there. 6 p.m. We've had people show up in the morning, which is kind of funny when they tell me that. I'm like, who starts a meeting at 6 in the morning? But you can always check us out on meetup.com. That's where we have all the information. Go to meetup.com, type in the Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club. We're the giant group in the thing. It's almost 4,600 members. Pretty big group now.
Really cool.
And come out and we have multiple other meetings. We got the Let's Make a Deal meeting. We have the cash flow game that we play on the first Wednesday of the month, and then we have the Saturday before the fourth Wednesday. We have the Saturday morning coffee, which is just a bunch of investors getting together, having coffee, and sharing ideas.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah,
I love it. Like I said, you're building relationship, providing value. That's the thing I noticed about you guys that made me want to be a part.
That's what it is. I mean, it's all networking.
Yes, sir.
Your network is tied to your net worth.
Yes, sir. There you go. I like it.
So it's it's good pleasure to have you on, DeMarco. Why don't you talk about if anybody wants to contact you guys, let them know how to get a hold of you.
I appreciate you having me. Thanks for having me on, Todd. It's been my pleasure, man. And we're my wife and I, Marisa Fletcher, DeMarco Fletcher, co-owners of Remax Kings Realty, located in Riverside, the Orange Crest area, 19009 Van Buren Boulevard. And we if you feel like anything you've heard this afternoon might pique your interest in kind of beginning or initiating a career in real estate, love to sit down and have a conversation with you and see if we might be able to partner together in the future.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that about wraps us up, or maybe not. We got about a minute left. Nick's in. All right. So one last piece of advice. One last piece.
If for this goes for buyers, sellers, or anybody looking to do anything in real estate, don't get caught up into how real estate used to be. To take your time to partner with someone who has your best interest in heart. Okay, and if someone is not willing to sit down with you and share, not only what they can do, but what you're looking to do, and devise a plan and a strategy in order to accomplish your goal, and to partner with you in order to do so. That's the key. So
I appreciate that. Thank you, DeMarco, and thanks for coming on. We'll see you all again next week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you then. Take care.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.